Hello, everybody. I was just watching my live because it cut out as soon as I hit go. So I've been hearing that there are some glitches in the internet world today and that some Facebook Lives have been impacted. So I hope that's not the case, but I'm going to find out pretty soon if I'm not actually live. It is October 20th, 7 p.m. Pacific time, and tonight I am going to share a really simple card making technique that's very, very handy if you need to batch make some cards. Now, I am going to be doing a Halloween themed card, but if that's not your thing, don't worry because this super easy technique is going to work for any pattern paper that you have, any occasion. So great for batch making, super simple. And it looks like I'm live. I'm glad that everything's working. Hello, Donna from Washington. For those of you tuning in who don't know me, my name is Kate. I am a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator on Vancouver Island in Canada, part-time Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, because I do have a full-time job and do all the things with my family. And this is my fun little hobby that turned into a community and a side gig, and I love it. Hi, Marion. You missed me last time, but you're back. Well, I'm glad you're back. Karen, my buddy. Hey, Karen. Karen with the K, for those who don't know. That's just a little joke we have. All right, so I'm going to flip the camera around. You're going to get a very quick glimpse of the tiny little craft desk I work at and how messy, truly messy I am. Hey, Kate. Hello, Deidre from Montreal. Okay, flipping the camera now. Lisa, hi. All right, now I'm flipping the camera. All right, super quick peek of my tiny little craft desk. Now, here's the fun thing. I've just got this tiny little desk in the corner of my spare room, so I am proof that we do not need a huge amount of space to craft, right? And before I took over the spare room, I was crafting at my kitchen table, which was driving my husband nuts. Hello, Janice. So you don't need a big dedicated craft space, but what you probably do need is some totes or storage to store all our crafty stuff in. All right, let's get going. So for tonight, I've got a Smoky Slate A2 card base, 5.5 by 8.5, scored and folded at 4.25 on the long side. And then I've got two pieces of the Spooky Sweet Designer Series paper. These are both 4 inches by 5.25. And then I've got a basic gray layer, which is just a smidge bigger. It's 4 1/8 by 5 3/8. And then for the inside, just a piece of basic white that's 4 5.25. Totally optional if your card base is light. Maybe you don't want to use that extra paper, but I do love my layers. Hello, Jackie. Thanks for tuning in. And Sharon from Tasmania. Lisa, you craft on the dining room table, but you don't eat there anyway. That's funny. That's funny. Okay, so if you are crafting along with me tonight, you are going to need your paper trimmer. I'm just going to move these out of the way. I also have a whole bunch of little pre-cut images from the Spooky Sweet Specialty Designer Series paper. Now, I did check yesterday. This paper is still in stock. It's super cute. I know it's getting pretty close to Halloween, so maybe you want it for next year. I'll just give you a little peek at what comes in the pack. So of course I've been chopping into it, so everything is in pieces, but there's lots of fun designs in this pack. This one is all different scenes that you can cut out, and then some petunia pop. I really like that. Spooky houses. This might be my favorite because it's full of candy. And then it also came with a whole bunch of little pieces that are already pre-cut that you can pop out. And I've just like popped them all out and I put them in a little folder just because, right? Because it makes such a big mess. Anyways, so that's what I'm working with tonight. Hello, Lorraine. I have a crafty gift finally in the mail for you. So you can hopefully you'll see that within the next week. I just popped it in the mail. And I'm a little bit behind with all the things, like, which is usual, very typical for me, but Lorraine, it's coming. All right, and then I actually can't remember the set of dies I have that cut out this little rectangle, but this is for my sentiment. So if you're crafting along and you're using a sentiment, just cut it to whatever side you need. Surprise me. Surprise me. Okay, so let's do this. Grab your paper trimmer if you are crafting along. Now this technique, like I said, is what I love to use if I'm going to do some card batching. I need to make a few cards and I want to make them quick. So you're just going to take your 2 pieces of pattern paper, and again, these are both 4 by 5 1/4. Stack them together. It's important that you stack them together because you want the cut to match up on both sides. And then you're going to pop it in your paper trimmer. Now you can cut it directly across, or you can just cut part of it off. It's totally up to you. So for the sample I did, I'll show you that later. I cut this paper directly in half on the diagonal. So I've lined up the top left corner in the track. So the top left corner of the paper is lined up in the track, and the bottom right corner are lined up in the track. But just to do something a little bit different, because it's still going to work for batch making, I'm going to offset this just a little bit. So I'm going to basically cut an angle off the cardstock. Now I did use a bit of pressure because I am cutting through 2 sheets of paper, right? So now we have got our paper chopped, super easy. And then we're just going to mix and match, right? So you'll take one piece and match it up. And then same thing with the other piece, right? They're going to match up perfectly. And then you just decide which pattern that you want to work with. But if you're batch making, you're going to use both anyway, right? So it doesn't really matter. This paper is not directional, so you can flip it around if you want the candy design on top, right? You get what I'm putting down. Hello, Cindy. Hello, Christine. I'm probably missing some comments, and then I have FOMO. So I'm going to have to go back and read everything, but I won't do it right now. I won't do it right now. All right, so I am just going to make 1 card tonight with this batch making technique, but then I'm going to save 2 pieces of the other 2 pieces for another card later well, not tonight actually. I've got some things I got to do, but maybe later this week. So I think I'm going to use the one that's got more candy because it is my favorite design out of this whole pack of paper. I love the candy. But that's like because I have a sweet tooth, right? Now this, I'm just going to layer onto that basic gray layer that is just a smidge bigger than the pattern paper. So again, 4 1/8 by 5 3/8, that's my basic gray layer. And then you can see these pieces are just going to fit together perfectly because I cut them together. I'm going to glue them down. And this is how quick this card is, right? It's just so easy. I do it actually, I've shown this before where I've cut it right down the diagonal with some masculine cards. I've done this technique lots because I like it, right? Hello, Suzanne. Kathy Kessler, nice to see you. All right, let's get gluing. So the fun thing about this paper, it's double-sided. You can flip it around if you want to change it up on your next card. You can do whatever you want. It's just that easy. All right, so I'm gluing this one down, the bigger one down, and then I'm just going to match up the bottom corner. Very little stamping tonight because my focal points are going to be those pre-cut, super cute images that came with the pack of paper. It makes crafting like quick and easy, right? It's actually they're really fun ideas when you want to craft with maybe some kids or some beginners, right? Because it's no muss, no fuss. I mean, look at how cute that is. We're just going to pop this stuff up and it's going to look perfect. All right, I have got some petunia pop ribbon and I'm going to add this. I'm just going to cover the seam with a little bit of ribbon. Completely optional. You don't have to do that. But because I have the ribbon, then why not, right? Why not? Now, I need a little bit of tear and tape. And then I'm going to stick this ribbon down right on that seam. But the seam matches up perfectly. So like I said, that is just completely optional if you want to do that. Otherwise, you know, you do you. So I will trim this once I get this other side down. Hello, Gina. You love this paper? I do too. I do too. Sherry. Oh, Kathy, I love that you put great in all capitals. It's like you're yelling at me that it's great to see me. And I like that. I've had kind of a rough weekend, so I'm happy to be here. And this is just such a really supportive group of ladies and sometimes men who like to pop in and say hi. So I appreciate you all. Um, you make my night, right? All right, so now I put a little tear and tape on the back side. I'm just going to fold that ribbon over and let that stick down. Whoops. I might want to try that again. I missed it. All right, it's handy with the tear and tape because it's easy to reposition your ribbon if you're like me. You're not paying attention to what you're doing. All right, there, I got it. I got it this time. I got it this time. So I don't know if anybody ever notices, but I like to put a little positive quote on my glass mat before the Monday night live when I do the measurements. And I like coming up with like nice, tiny little, short little quotes that are just positive or feel good quotes. And this week, my quote is, "Your light doesn't fade when you help someone else shine." And that this really resonates with me. And I don't know if any of you guys have experienced it, but sometimes, and I don't know if this is a woman thing or a everybody thing, but sometimes there's certain people that don't really like you as much if you're doing good. I mean, they like you if you're doing okay, but if you start doing really good, sometimes people don't seem to like that. And I never quite understand that mindset, right? So I'm part of this workout group. So is Lisa, by the way. It's called Healthy Role Models. Well, we call it HRM for short. And twice a year, there's a journey, and there's a whole bunch of women from all over the world that join in this workout group. And we connect on Facebook. I'm just going to glue this layer down onto my card base while I'm telling you guys this story. So we all connect on Facebook twice a year during the journeys, and then we also have a Facebook group in between journeys to stay connected. And I will tell you, that is one group of positive women that will always, always celebrate everybody's success. And it is refreshing and lovely. I mean, you do as good as you want to do. Everybody's running their own race and everybody's cheering for everybody. And I just love it. All right, here's the front of the card. I almost like this just the way it is. And I could leave it like that and just write a note on the inside. But how could I possibly do that when there's so many cute things to pop up on this card, right? So I'm thinking about the cauldron. I'm not sure if I'm going to have that. It might be too busy. Maybe this card just needs the hippo, right? I don't know. Hello, Helen. Hello, Suzanne. Deidre, I'm glad you like that quote. I like it too. I found it on the internet last night and I thought, we need to support each other. Well, you know, it doesn't change how good we're doing in life if somebody's doing better. We should just be happy for people. Okay, so while I'm going to stamp a sentiment, and if anybody has an opinion, if it should just be the hippo and a few bats, or if it should be the hippo and the cauldron, let me know in the comments. Otherwise, I'm probably just going to go with the hippo because it's really, really cute. Okay, so I have got a stamp set from last year. What was it called? Let me see. Oh, here it is. It's called Potions and Spells. So I just grabbed a Halloween sentiment out of this stamp set. So Halloween cards are one of those things. I don't buy a lot of the stamp sets because how many Halloween cards does a girl need, right? How many do I need? I don't have little people in my life. I don't have grandkids. Um, my son Kai, he doesn't want me to give him Halloween cards. He's a teenager, right? It would be weird. So I just inked up the happy on my ink pad, and then I'm going to stamp Halloween right underneath that. So I'm just carefully inking up Halloween and avoiding getting any ink on happy. This particular stamp, it's easy to do that because there's enough of a space. So you can just tap your stamp on the edge of the ink pad, right? Pretty easy. So, and if you don't have enough space to do that, you can just use a little post-it note if you want to separate that sentiment, right? All right, I'm seeing lots of just the hippo. Yeah, Marion, less is more, unless it's bling, right, Karen? Karen loves bling. I always tease you. I always tease Karen about the bling. All right, I don't think I see anybody that wants the cauldron in there. I'm on board with you guys. All right, so if you need to just mask off part of your sentiment because you want to stack it like I did, and there's not enough room to do what I did, you just grab a post-it note and just cover up one of the words. Ink up this one. Don't forget to remove this before you stamp, and it's just that easy, right? Easy, easy. I've seen some people cut their stamps, but I think that's crazy talk. I've never cut a stamp ever, but I've seen people do it, and I don't know. Have you guys cut your stamps in half when you want to separate the words? Never done that. I'd rather mask. But anyway, that's just a me thing. I can't imagine cutting my stamps. All right, so I do not know where my regular dimensionals are, so I'm going to load up this hippo with my mini dimensionals. I think I have enough. I've got 8. I think that should be enough. Mini dimensionals are pretty economical. If you love using dimensionals, then maybe you should try some minis, and then you can still use a ton and have a ton left over in your pack. Yeah. Deidre says some bats with the hippo. Yeah, that's a good idea. All right. Gina has cut her stamps and then wished she didn't. Oh my gosh, and you had regrets. Yeah, I don't want to have regrets. All right. Cute, hey? I really like that. That is just so cute. All right. Then I'm going to pop the sentiment up in the top left, I think. And then I'm going to add some bats. And then for the inside, I'm just going to glue down that white layer and add a little candy corn pop out because, it's cute. I like the look of candy corn, but I don't like to eat it. That's the one candy that I avoid, but I think it's really cute candy. Lisa, you've never cut, but you watch someone cut on a live demo. Yeah, some people are so brave, right? Hello, Lisa Northey. Thanks for tuning in. Oh, I'm a little bit cockeyed. I'm just going to straighten that out just a smidge. Better? Okay. Bats. Where are these guys going to go? One definitely has to go up here, and then down here, and probably up in the corner, like so maybe. Yeah, that looks good. All right, the bats are great because your minis fit so easily on these little bats. They just pop right on there. Thanks, Susan. I think it's a cute card too, but I like Halloween cards. I think they're really cute and fun. And one day if I'm blessed to have grandbabies, you can bet that they're going to be getting a ton of cute Halloween cards every year until they tell me they've had enough. But I bet grandkids never tell their grandmas they have enough, right? I think they just take it. I think they just take all the love, even if they don't um, appreciate it. I think they're good to their grandmothers. At least that's what I'm hoping. I'm hoping the grandkids are good to the grandmothers. That's future goals. All right, so I popped the bats on. I'm going to glue this white piece down, and then I'm going to search for my pretty in pink gems and bling up this card just to add a little more sparkle. And then I'm going to show you the sample that I made last night that I cut right in half, or cut that designer series paper right in half. So technically I have got 2 more Halloween cards at least to make because I've got all that paper cut out. Gina, you like candy corn? And you mail to your grandkids and your grown kids. Oh, that's really sweet. Maybe I'm wrong. Hey, maybe I should be making Kai Halloween cards and, maybe he will like it. I don't know. He seems so grown up now that he's 14. It happens overnight. I swear, sometimes he calls me bruh. I don't even know. I don't even know what to say to that. All right, I've just glued the candy corn on the inside, so there is a little bit of something on the inside. And how lucky for me, my pink gems were right in my basket, ready to get popped up on this card. All right, let's do this. Let's bling it. So I'm just going to add, oops, I'm going to add this. Tanya, the Canadian stamper, was watching me do a live. I can't remember when it was, Friday maybe. She told me I need to roll the tip of my putty tool because I was struggling with my gems. And then I said, oh, right on, thanks for the tip. And then I totally forgot about it until just now. And I've actually had this putty tip for 3 years and I haven't changed it yet. It lasts a really long time. Kate's grands are the best, and they are 24, 20, 20, and 14, and they still want Halloween goodies. Yeah, they do. Yeah, they do. Of course they want to be spoiled by their grandmother. What lucky kids. My husband really loved his grandma too. Oops. She passed away a few years ago. She was in her 90s. And my grandma lived to her 90s as well, but she passed away during COVID. And she was the sweetest. She was the sweetest. She always said whenever I was leaving that she loved me a bushel and a peck. I've never heard anybody else say that. Marion, when Marion's son calls her bro, I tell him, I'm not your bro, I'm your ma. Oh, that's cute. That's cute. I'm going to do that, Marion. I'm going to tell Kai next time he calls me brah. I'm going to let him know that I'm his ma. All right, I need to add one more pink gem somewhere just so I have an uneven number because I'm weird like that. I'm weird like that. All right, there we go. Super cute, easy card. I have the pieces to do another one. It's really quick and will come together super fast, so that's handy, right? And I'm going to take these cards to work and perhaps I will give one to Kai, but it won't be this one because, he doesn't want a princess leopard, if that's a leopard. Anyway, this is the one I made last night. I cut that paper right on the diagonal. So I still have 2 pieces left to make another card with. And I used the tree, the bats, this little princess, and then I just did the same thing with the candy corn on the inside. That was super cute. And then for those of you, oh no, Brenda, you didn't. Brenda just said maybe he wants 6 or 7 cards, and there's there's something happening with kids, and they say 6, 7 a lot, but they say it with a bit of a slang or a twang to the voice. And I've been hearing from some teachers, especially teachers on TikTok, that this is such a thing, and that the teachers are so tired of hearing kids saying 6, 7 in this like weird, funny way that they say it. Brenda, that was really clever. Lisa, your granddaughter says that too. She calls you bra. Oh my gosh. Okay. So if you tuned in last Friday morning, we did this really quick and easy design for project number 4 in the Amber Autumn class. So I went ahead and recreated it on Sunday. I think I did it Sunday with the Halloween stuff. And Just super cute. Super cute. And then I just added a strip of the leftover designer series paper right down the inside of the card just because I had the paper kicking around. So that is it for tonight. I'm going to flip the camera around. I hope you like this fun and easy card design. It is really easy for card batching. Now, I don't do a lot of super fancy complicated cards, but I sure do like to do some fun and easy cards, especially ones that use up designer series paper. Like I love patching different sizes of paper together to make a card. I just love how that turns out, right? It's one of my favorite things. So, but I am going to step it up a bit for Thursday's Amber Autumn card class at home, project number 5. It'll be a little more complicated than tonight's card, so you guys don't get bored. Cindy, you heard that too. Hello, Jack. Thanks for tuning in. Before I forget, last chance, because we've only got 11 more days of the month, so a couple things. Stampin' Up's starter kit special, the joining special, it is on till October 31st. In Canada, you can get, straighten this camera, if you're in Canada, you can pick up a starter kit for $48. It's that cheap. And then you get to add $165 into your cart of crafting goodies of your choice. So it's a really good deal. Now, there are benefits to being a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. And number one, why would I want you to join up? Because why would you want to pay full price, right? If you're buying Stampin' Up!, my thought is, why pay full price? Especially when there's a good special on where you can snag $165 worth of goodies for just $48 plus free shipping, plus a paper pumpkin. They do send you catalogs and business supplies because they probably want you to, be a craft dealer. But the fun part is you don't have to. You don't have to be a craft dealer. You can just enjoy it for your own discount. And then either you stay active because you're buying enough craft supplies, or 6 months later you drop off with no penalties because you wanted to kidnap the starter kit. That's what I like to call it. If you just slide in, grab the kit at a really good deal and never buy another thing, you're a kidnapper. And there is nothing wrong with that, friends. There is nothing wrong with that. So you can kidnap, you can join up and be a hobby demo and enjoy your own discount. There's a community that comes with it. I have a team called the Rain or Shine Paper Crafters. We're at just over 20 now. So it's getting really big, and we're going to start doing some of our own team things. I just bought the Zoom membership yesterday, so I'm really looking forward to doing that and building community for the team since we just got so big. We got so big. So there's always room for more. You just have to be in Canada. Now, if you're in the States, same thing. There's a really great deal on too, but the dollar amounts are different because the Canadian dollar is higher. So I don't know what your starter kit costs you in the States, but it's comparable to the Canadian dollar, or exactly the same. I don't know. So that's joining special. And then of course, if you have no interest in joining Stampin' Up! For that killer deal, then stay my customer, and I'm really happy to have you as my customer. And customers in October, when you shop with me, then you're going to be invited to an exclusive online card class using Zoom, since I just bought a membership on November 1st with a replay available for those who can't. So starter kit, super good deal. You can kidnap it or just use it for your personal use, or you can start a little side gig. It's totally up to you. And then October customer special, if you're in Canada and you shop with me, then you're automatically going to be getting an invite to the card class. Don't let me forget, if you're on Rain or Shine Paper Crafters, you're going to get an invite to that online card class as well. Okay, so do not worry, you're always going to be included in those things. You do not have to shop with me because you need to be shopping with your own discount. So you're going to get into the class anyway. That'll be November 1st with a replay available. And I've got a 3-tier system. For those of you who might have missed the post last week, it's 3-tier. If you spend any amount in my online store, even if you just buy a glue, you're going to get that exclusive card class. If you spend $60 or more, then I'll send you the kits so you can craft along and not cut your pieces. You do need your own stamp and ink and coloring tools. And then if you spend $100 or more, I'm going to pop some gems in your package as well in your Happy Mail. All right, I talk too much, friends. I talk too much. It's already 7:30 and this was a really fast card. Thank you everybody for tuning in. If you are catching me on a replay, either on Facebook or YouTube, say hello, tell me where you're from. I'm going to go back and read everybody's comments later tonight or tomorrow when I have time, because I'm sure I've missed some. Thanks, Marion. I really appreciate your kind comments. Hello, Kathy. Yes, definitely catch on replay. Yeah, and on YouTube, if you're watching on YouTube, you're going to find the measurements and the supply list right in the video description, so it's easy peasy. All right. Thanks for tuning in, everybody, and I hope to see you all back on Thursday for project number 5 with the Amber Autumn Bundle. Have a great night. Thanks, Karen. See you later.